New Thought Media Network is proud to present Cosmic Prayers, your weekly shift, Mondays at 11 Mountain Time, with your host, Laura Topper. The Cosmic Prayers, live from the UK. And now, here she is, Laura Topper.
Hi, and welcome to the Cosmic Prayer. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Laura. And if you're watching this now and live, then get ready for an amazing broadcast with two incredible spiritual leaders that are waiting to come on to share their idea of prayer and how prayer has transformed their lives and how they transform other people's lives with prayer. Each week we are here with the Cosmic Prayer to shine a light on how we can use prayer as a spiritual practice for our lives. And you may be new to using prayer or prayer using you, or it may be something that you're used to and it's a part of your daily spiritual practice. And whatever that is for you, this is the perfect place because here we get to learn more, to share, to understand, and to really delve into what prayer means. So I'm excited because I'm here in the UK and the amazing Diego is producing our show. I just wanted to mention Diego because he does such amazing work here on New Thought Media Network, and he's here every single week producing the Cosmic Prayer and bringing it out over the airwaves for you to view and listen to. So thank you, Diego. This week on the Cosmic Prayer, we have two incredible women, both spiritual leaders and fully committed to teaching spirituality through science of mind, with science of mind, as science of mind ministers. They are both staff ministers at CSL Kelowna, which is in Canada. And more recently, hi Robin, more recently, they in the last year and a half, they have been taken on a commitment within themselves to be the spiritual leaders for the Centre for Spiritual Living in Kenya. Both of these women are inspiring me in so many great ways with the work that they are doing in this world. So I'd like to welcome now Rev Gwen Smith and Rev Barbara Samuel to the Cosmic Prayer, and just a big hello and hug to your virtual hug here from the UK. Thank you so much for joining the Cosmic Prayer. Thank you for being here.
Our pleasure, our honor.
You really inspire me, both of you, because you do so much. And every time I either see you online or talk with you, Rev Gwen, you're just so cool and calm and collected. And yet I know the amount of work that you're doing and how you're empowering others or inspiring others to use spiritual practice to transform lives in areas of the world where maybe they wouldn't normally think of using prayer, for example, in the way we use prayer to create a life that's fulfilled and meaningful.
Right.
So thank you, first of all, for everything that you're doing.
Well, you got to know, Laura, we have the most incredible team. Our board, Barb was on the board a little bit before me, but I came on and I was in awe. Everybody on that board has such incredible sacred gifts and talents and skills, and are wide open and willing to bring them forth and put them to work for each one. And it just comes together in such a beautiful collaboration. And honestly, we have moved mountains. It's been a year as of July 1st, and we have moved mountains. It's incredible. And we're just always bouncing back and forth between Barb and I, how profoundly grateful we are in this experience, and to be witness of it and a part of it. We're in there too, but it's
oh yeah,
phenomenal.
It's true. Reverend Gwen is correct. Our teams are fantastic. Our boards, our people, and they share their gifts, their treasures, and their talents with us. And we are, as Gwen said, in awe. And we love moving forward, and we're propelling forward. We're in this incredible trajectory that's just, it's unstoppable. Yeah. And it's all because of prayer. All because of prayer, let me tell you.
Yes.
So you're talking right now about this new venture, which isn't a new venture, but it's a newer commitment for both of you, that you've said yes in your heart to the calling of becoming spiritual directors for Center for Spiritual Living in Kenya, which is far removed from where you are geographically from Canada, and your intention and your inspiration is just sparking a whole, you've taken over from the beautiful Reverend Connie Phelps who transitioned last year, and you're invigorating this community with your sacred knowing and wisdom. And it just feels so exciting, all of the work that you're doing to inspire this community to use prayer and other principles, spiritual principles and practices. So tell me how prayer, maybe you can both answer this individually, but how prayer really how you've embraced prayer for your lives, and what prayer really means for you. How important is prayer?
Well, prayer, I think I'll let Gwen speak for herself, but for me, I've been praying since I was a young girl. I remember my first prayer when my mom came into my room as a young girl, and she lost her sister. And she came in and she said, "Barbara, pray with me." And, we had been doing the Lord's Prayer every night my whole life. But that was the first prayer where I really felt a connection. And it became, for me, as a young girl, part of my spiritual practice. And what I recognized my mom, what she was doing today, was she was praying out called the divine, and she was giving all of her heart to that energy. And for me now, it centers me, it changes me, it touches me, it influences me, and it opens my it shifts my perception and opening my consciousness to that oneness that I know is already there. I know is everywhere present. And so that's what prayer is for me. That's when I first started learning about prayer.
Wow, to have such an influence as a young child, and for your mom to support that and guide you. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Because not all of us are so, not all of us have that experience of as a young child, and then it being reinforced by our mom. That must have felt amazing.
Incredible. And I think as a parent, she knew who I was in part before I even knew who I was as an adult. She saw the possibilities of holding that sacred space.
What a blessing. Amazing. And for you, Reverend Gwen, how has prayer impacted your life?
Well, I didn't grow up with any prayer work or prayer influence per se. I know people would say, if somebody passed away, you're in our prayers. And it was just a comment. I mean, it had no basis to it, right? I had no reference for it. And then when I was growing up, I stayed a lot with my cousins who went to Catholic church. And I loved going because there was lots of ritual and there was prayer work. And I loved how they were in community. And And then I never really got into knowing or practicing prayer until I became into science and mind teachings and the religious science philosophy. And yeah, it's changed. It's a grounding force. It's a way of recentering. When life out here gets a little chaotic and wild, I mean, we've got forest fires around us, and we've got, things going on. It brings me back to center for sure. And there's just been great things for me that has happened to me because it's opened me to possibilities. Anything is possible. And it's prayer that directs it, and it intentionally and purposely moves that energy. So it's been a game changer.
Game changer. Come on.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love hearing you both saying how from totally different, for you, Rev Gwen, how prayer was never really something that was meaningful for you growing up, maybe, or as a child, or in your and yet, for you, Reverend Barbara, that was it. It was inspired in you, and yet you're both together doing this beautiful work. You found each other.
Our paths have crossed many times, and
have they?
We have landed here together, and we love it. I can't imagine serving and doing what I do without my sister girlfriend Gwen.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
And I gotta tell you, speaking of prayer, Barb is my mental equivalent. When I first came and was at one of the very first Sundays, there she is up singing her heart and just, Barb sings with her whole being. And I remember looking up at her going, yeah, that's what I want. Like, that was the mental equivalent.
I love this.
The Barb. And, it came true. It came true. Barb was my vocal teacher. And then I got into a band, a house band with CSL Kelowna. And I would be the leader of the music in that Sunday service because it would give Barb an opportunity to have a Sunday off. And it's been just magical. It's been magical. But Barb was she's my mental equivalent. my prototype. Yeah.
So before the show, I was asking you, Reverend Barb, you're a singer, you're a music. I had no idea, Reverend Gwen, that you were actually you're a secret singer.
Secret singer, yeah.
Secret singer.
She has from a farm, and she used to sing, walking through the fields, feeding the animals. Gwen's got pipes.
My hairbrush.
Yeah. We have a lot of fun singing together. And we were in Canada for the conference, 2020 conference. And I was a musical director there, and Gwen came in and supported me and sang and shone her light so bright too.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is amazing. This is amazing. I'm a singer also.
Yes. I've been watching you.
Everyone's a singer. See, everyone should express themselves, even though they can.
It's the most freeing thing, and I love it that you said, before we came on, that I asked you what your what type of music you sing, what genre of music, and you said, well, it's God music. That's for me.
I sing for God. I sing.
There's something about that for me, that when I'm singing my songs or someone else's song and I'm singing along to it, and it's a New Thought song, that's a prayer for me. That's a prayer. It's like those words. I know every word is a prayer for me. That's how I feel it. But when I'm singing it, it's like the vibration of that, saying that truth and singing it. And it's amazing how songs are prayers.
Yes, they are.
I treat them as prayers. Yeah, it does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Every thought, every word, every expression is a prayer. And when we absorb it, when we allow it, when a lyric, I can cry at the drop of a dime for a lyric, and a melody just comes in, and the two combine. My soul just moves with them, and it becomes one. And I'm absorbing the actual prayer. That's what's happening. And so I'm becoming that prayer through song.
Oh, I wish we had something here that we could play.
We've always got a song, baby. We've always got a song.
Maybe you can sing something right now.
Well, my husband wrote a song that was simply just love is a prayer. Love is a prayer, and I pray for you. That's the whole song. And it builds and it builds and it builds. Yeah, that's
Where
it.
can we find this song?
I'll share it with you. I'll share a link.
Yeah.
That I'll do. Okay. Let me do that with you.
It's phenomenal.
It's amazing. So how do you inspire others to pray in your community? I'm really interested. While Rev Barbara's finding that, maybe Rev Gwen can talk on that, because sometimes I know for myself, even if I'm in a practice of it, we can get in a rut sometimes with how to pray. But
we have a prayer group, like our practitioner group with Kenya, and we just, somebody might be talking to somebody and say, okay, have you reached out for prayer? Have you put it in the group? It's just a reminder of everybody to reach out. Even I forget. I was talking to our lead practitioner, and I said something to her, and she goes, "Did you ask for prayer?" And I'm going, right. And it just seemed like such a little thing, and I was dealing with, and she goes, but there was a struggle. And so she brought it up, and it's like, yeah, right. Okay. And so it's that whole reminder. And
yeah,
once you've taught it, and we've done the treatments over and over again, and they start to see effect, they start to see the manifestations and the demonstrations. I think that's the bigger motivator as well. And we always encourage that as a spiritual practice. It's a daily thing for sure. It's an hourly thing, whatever fits into your life. So it's through, just those reminders, encouragements, and saying, look what just demonstrated. Like, why would you why would you not want to have prayer in your life, in a treatment, right? And yeah.
So can you talk through, for anyone that's listening right now that may be unfamiliar with spiritual mind treatment, because it's a specific way that we pray, where we're not begging or pleading. We know truth already. We know it's already done. Right. And it could be really helpful for you to just talk through that, the 5 stages of spiritual mind treatment.
Okay. So it's a specific sort of formula. It grounds you in that knowing that God is all there is. First off, there's that full-on recognition. So that's the first step. And that is where we acknowledge that God is all there is. It is omnipresent. It's a part of the divine matrix. It's universal love. There's many, many, many names, but it's one thing. But we can say all these things just to get our consciousness in line with that wholeness, that allness, and that magnificence of God, the omnipresence. And then we go into unity, because if God is all there is, we're in it. It's in us. There's that unity. But we're acknowledging that unity. We're acknowledging that God is all there is, and then we're acknowledging that unity, and then we're unifying in the wholeness and allness of God. And then in the realization step is where and it's called an affirmative prayer for a reason. We're affirming that life is good, that there is all these possibilities, and that any situation and condition can be turned around. And so it's done with affirmative statements in the present tense, already done, knowing the truth. Prayer, spiritual mind treatment is revealing the spiritual truth and revealing the spiritual magnificence of every single soul on this planet. So that's what the realization step is just claiming and declaring. And then you go into gratitude. Gratitude is a whole state of consciousness and attitude. And now we're giving thanks that this creative process that we've intentionally activated through the prayer steps is integritous. It's always working. It's always saying yes. And we give great gratitude for that. And then we just let it go. We let it go. We get ourselves out of the way and let that universal creative process do its thing. And then we just ground it by saying, and so it is.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Because, every time I hear that, and I know this, I'm doing it, I'm practicing it. And yet it's to refresh and hear it again and again. It's a beautiful reminder that, that each of these steps is so powerful, particularly the first two, when we recognize that God is all and I am God, or I am the essence of that, which is so powerful, isn't it? So have there been times in your life where you maybe, Reverend Barr, I know you popped out, you're popping back in again?
I'm in and out. I'm like Katy Perry. I'm hot, I'm cold, I'm in, I'm out.
You're here, you're there, you're everywhere.
Thanks for hanging with me.
So has there been a time for you where you've lost faith? And where prayer has, kind of been put on the back burner, or you felt I want to really use prayer more because I'm not feeling it.
Yes, there has been. And I think that's real. That's human. That's our experience, and it's okay to actually forget for a moment where you've come from, because then when you reconnect, and it doesn't take you that long when you've had that foundation of this treatment to come back to that place. When my mom passed away, I was a young woman. I was 23. My mom was very faith-filled. As I said, she was my first prayer partner. And I thought, and she died at a very young age, that's not right. The world didn't stop when she passed away, as we know happens when people transition. And I was young and didn't have the knowing that I know now through this teaching, through this science of mind, and the 5 steps that Reverend Gwen just talked about. So yes, I did lose faith, and I got mad and I cursed God and what I thought was God at the time. I didn't know that there was something, a power within me that could help me move past that. In another lifetime, I would think that prayer was about convincing God to do something for me. It wasn't about being aware of the presence of the God that was within me. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, there have been times when and that was the major time, but it's like riding a bike. Once you learn the steps that Reverend Gwen talked about, the specific process of the spiritual mind treatment, and I think she probably said also known as an affirmative prayer, we simply call it a treatment. It sounds very medicinal, but it's a very scientific prayer. There's a realization that the universe is infinite, that it is present, it permeates everything, and it brings new possibilities into life, and that we're able to feel, hear, speak, and desire what's already are. So I desired a connection with my mom. I desired a connection. I didn't know at a young age, I was really desiring that connection with the presence within. So when we summon all of those steps together within ourselves, when we don't try to beg, to trick, to argue, we don't even ask or deny, to tell you the truth. In prayer and science of mind, we just know. That's the key. We just know. And then we fall into joyful surrender, releasing all the delusion of control that we think we have that's outside of us, giving that power to something else. So I have lost faith, and I have found faith again. And it wasn't hard to reconnect because I had a foundation. But that foundation was very different than what I knew at one time.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for sharing that. Because that must have been a very emotional time, because when we think we're losing the physicality of somebody, the presence of somebody, to turn to prayer for that, not only that comfort, but that knowing of truth, that's a big step to take, to surrender. to the invisible, as it were. And you did it. Wow. Amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
I think that's really powerful, because the last year has been so challenging for so many of us in different ways. We've all had to transition, or been given this opportunity of transitioning through something, dying off something, whatever it is, whether it's a physical thing or an emotional state or a way of being or a way of living or a person or our health. We've been very challenged, haven't we, in the past year and a half, to stay in that knowing of truth.
Yeah, life is changing.
This year has been a great opportunity to know the truth, to express the truth and live the truth. There have been a lot of challenges, and it's been every single human being on this earth has experienced it. And so this was the opportunity for us to hold steadfast, to stay and know that we are fully equipped and able to handle any situation, and refuse to be distracted by fear or doubt or confusion. This was the perfect year to practice treatment and prayer.
Yes. And so I'm really interested, because I know you're both doing such incredible work with Centers for Spiritual Living Kenya, where you've followed your prayer, your calling to step into leadership there, both of you together. I love this. And so, Reverend Gwen, how is that shaping your life? Because you said yes, you took that baton from Reverend Connie Phelps, who transitioned last year, who was an incredible spirit soul, her intention to create this and for this community from scratch, really. And you've come in and said, yes, we're going to kind of take over and be here to shine the light of what we know in this community. And how has prayer led you through that? How is prayer leading you through this?
Well, first of all, it was like, yes. And it's like, ooh, I couldn't possibly do what Connie did.
Because Connie was just like,
she's such a big energy, right? And it was such a joy to be at the conference in Kenya, in the environment of Nairobi and the countryside of Kenya, to see her in action. And so that really was inspiring and helpful. And, I was just reflecting just the other day that I did a 20-minute talk at the conference. And I remember it was the last day, and it was just such a moving, powerful few days at this conference. And I remember going on that stage, and I'm going, I challenge every one of you here to not forget this. Don't leave here and forget this. Like, make sure that you keep Kenya in your hearts and your prayers, and do what you are led to do. And then 5 months later, we're being asked to step into these big shoes. So of course it was big for me. It wasn't my intention or my aspiration to be a spiritual leader of a center. And so this was really a surprise, but it felt absolutely soulfully right. And then to know I'm partnering up with Barb was a no-brainer, right? We have this connection and sisterhood. And so it was praying. It was getting to know our board and doing the treatments, and just knowing that we were just so loved and supported. And then all of a sudden, we've got other support coming in from the Geneva conference, welcoming us, the global services. It's just been tremendous. And so that is also in my treatment work, to have that love and support. And it shows up in so many ways, ways that we didn't even know were out there, to tell you the truth. And people are showing up and they're stepping forward. Yeah.
And they are stepping forwards in not only in support capacity, in the community that you're building as well. That
Oh.
people are actually being drawn, so many people are being drawn into learning from you as teachers. I mean, we have people here online, Facebook users. I can't see their names because we're on StreamYard, but we have messages from Warren's Queen. I don't know if he's one of your students, and there's another one here. Thank you, Diego. Loving my teachers, Rev Babs. So, and Robin Hackett. Hi, Robin, if you're here, still watching. You're creating a stir, and you're kind of bringing people into the melting pot of and teaching them these new ways, science of mind, and coming to Kenya and expanding the community there. How does that feel?
Oh, heartwarming.
It's heartwarming. It's powerful. And it allows me to know that we're carrying on that legacy of Reverend Connie. Reverend Connie was my first teacher in this teaching. And it allows me to know that we're walking in those footsteps and we're building upon the foundation that she built. And I'm proud, I'm moved, and I know that Rev Babs, hey Rev Babs out there, that must be Lamech, or that's Christine. I know that they call me Rev Babs out there, so happy to see you. And I apologize. I understand there's some static. I had to move
a little bit of
to my phone, so I'm sorry.
It's okay. We're happy with static.
It's a part of it.
It's prayer and movement.
We have, such growing interest. And Connie, just through her talking with people and her connections, like she can make connections so easily. And she hooked in people. And then the conference, that also ignited a whole nother group of people who were not sure of what it was, but came to the conference. And that ignited a whole nother interest and numbers of people. And of course, they're talking about it. So, the whole ripple effect. And so we are, we're growing. But, that's the blessing in COVID and having to go virtual. Mm-hmm. Anybody that was interested outside of Nairobi had access to us.
Yes.
We've got people from Kisumu, Kisii. We've even had people zooming in from the coast, Mombasa. And it's accessible now. We have access. They have access to us and we have access to them. And so that's been the real big key. I don't think we'll change our class platforms. We'll probably carry on doing virtual classrooms so that we can have that access for everybody remotely and centrally.
And what I love about this whole thing, Christine popped up there. Hi, Christine. I love you, my spirit sister. What I love, I love you too, Christine. What I love is knowing that Reverend Connie followed her heart when she had this vision to come to Kenya.
She resisted.
she resisted, and yet that resistance then broke down. She surrendered, didn't she? And she followed her heart.
Well, and I shouldn't even call it a resistance. It was like, no, a vision is big. It's God's idea. So it's going to be massive for our comprehension, right? And so when we get that download from God, our vision for who we are and how we're to show up, or what is ours to do, we step back and go, me? And so I think that's what happened. Like she just went, because it was big. That was big in the mind of man, not in the mind of God. And, but, she got that that it affirmed immediately several times right in that same weekend.
Right.
And so, it's like, okay, it's okay. And I so admire people who can take those visions and go, okay, let's do it.
Yes.
And
so inspiring.
It is. It's really inspiring.
So inspiring, because she went to Kenya knowing nobody really, didn't she? There wasn't a community there already. She went with the intention of starting it and beginning it.
Yes. Yes.
And that was prayer led. And
yes.
And you've come along and stepped into that and just taken that baton and are continuing with it. I love it. Is there a picture of Reverend Connie on your website?
Oh, absolutely there is. She's with the children at the school. Yeah.
Is it down even further, Diego? On that. There she is.
There's our beautiful
Thank you,
girl.
Diego. Yeah,
Yes,
Reverend Connie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I met Reverend Connie once. I spoke with her many times on WhatsApp and on by email. And I met her once at CSL Geneva when we were performing there, and she was there a couple of years ago. And wow, this incredible woman with such a big heart and so much to say. I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
I'm glad you got to meet her.
I'm
glad you got some connection with her, because she really was an incredible woman, and to experience her presence and she was fun.
She was just a good time.
The joy that would just bubble out of her spontaneously was amazing.
And a spiritual warrior. I'm not sure if you said that, Gwen.
No.
I've been trying to get in and out, but a spiritual warrior. And can I also just say about me popping in and out? This is a lot our classes in Kenya. And Miss Gwen said that. We have bad internet connection, or we have weather that happens in Kenya, but our students have perseverance, and so I'm determined to keep popping in and out of here too.
Yes.
So you're not getting rid of me, because they are determined and they have heart, and I want to have that same determination and heart. And that's the same determination and heart that Connie had. She was a spiritual warrior. And that energy that, she left with all of us as her legacy. And I said earlier, and one of the last things she said to Gwen and I is just live your truth. Live the truth of God's truth. Have the wisdom of God's wisdom and love each other. And those were some of the final words that Connie said to us.
Oh.
Yeah.
And she really did that, because I know that she continued with her transition quite publicly, didn't she? In the way that that was so brave.
She was doing classes from her hospital bed.
And she was giving people a weekly update of her of what was happening for her health-wise at her bedside, from her bedside. A true spiritual teacher, a true spiritual leader and guide and example, I believe. Someone that I look up to as to how to do spirituality in public with the community.
Yes. Yeah. No, she was, one of her, she taught the course many times called Sacred Gifts, and she knew what her sacred gifts were. And she knew people who she collected around her, what their spiritual sacred gifts were. And I really believe that was why there was such harmony and great collaboration. Everyone brought to the table their sacred gift. And she recognized that she didn't have that, but this person did, and she brought them in. And we said at the conference, she has collected, even though she, as much as she was a spiritual warrior, she brought in her own warriors.
Yeah.
And so it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
And here you are as spiritual warriors, continuing to seed forwards this teaching. And this teaching is really all about how we can live a fulfilled and meaningful life, knowing that God is everything and we are a part of this as one with everything. Mm-hmm. So how valuable do you believe prayer is now? Right now, 2021, how valuable is it for our lives?
It is everything. It is the tool. It is the function. It is the necessity. Prayer is everything to keep us grounded, as we have said, both of us, I think, have said earlier, to keep us connected to source, to allow us to eliminate anxiety. It just that deeper connection with the divine. It allows us to listen better. It allows us to surrender better. It eliminates our need for pleading and begging, and it just changes us from the inside out. And what it does for me is it builds faith. It builds my faith.
Yes.
Beautiful.
It's true. I agree, Barb. Right in line with that, building that faith and trust. And I always feel like there's a silver lining, or as Connie would say, the gold nuggets. And that's gotten me through a lot too. With our planet was not very well. It was kind of sickly, and then COVID happened. A pandemic happened, and there's just as much as there has been loss and devastation, etc. in this, there has been so many gifts on a world level. And can you not see how we are connected? A virus went around the whole world and connected us through all the dynamics of it. And we can never deny that unity now. If somebody ever came to me and questioned it, you can physically say, well, what about the pandemic? It absolutely unified us. Not that it's a example that I would want to have. I would want them to know and share that divine energy rather than knowing that truth through a pandemic. But you know what? It worked. It shook us up. It made us wake up. It's like, I remember Michael Beckworth said, if your really good friend was having a nightmare, wouldn't you shake them up and wake them up?
Yeah.
Well, we've been woke up, right? Yeah.
And how about, like, for me, what I'm realizing more and more, maybe I love what you've just said, shake up and wake up. So for me, I'm also realizing that when I pray, when I'm in prayer for a change that I believe that I want to experience for my life, that I will go through the uncomfortable. And that doesn't mean that prayer isn't working, does it? For me, I realize that the uncomfortable is a part of that breaking down. Maybe that's what we have all experienced with COVID and everything else that we've experienced in the last year and a half, how we're realizing and awakening. So maybe you could speak on that, Reverend Barbara, about being comfortable in the uncomfortable when we're praying on something and it isn't as it seems it should be in that moment.
And I think that is, I always say it's God's time, not our time. And Reverend Ernest Holmes says, pray ceasingly. Pray ceasingly. And that's what comes to my mind when you say that. We have to continue so prayer is an interesting thing, because spiritual mind treatment is an interesting thing, because the philosophy is that say it, it's done, and let it go. That's the gratitude, that's the release. And at the same time, Ernest Holmes says, pray ceasingly. So you pray as though it is already done, knowing. And it's instantaneous. Prayer is instantaneous, but it's to the degree that you can absorb it, that you actually believe it, that you actually know it. So, and we don't see that instantaneous demonstration. That doesn't have anything to do with the divine. That has everything to do with your ability to receive it, to the reception of the power, of the glory, of the givingness, of the love of God. And that's hard when the ball is put in your court and you're responsible for it. Now, when we're talking globally, as we have been doing, that's individually. And as we're talking globally, as the world has, as Reverend Gwen beautifully said, been shaken and woken, there's graciousness. And it's frequency of everybody, your community, your world, your life, every person. And what is that? What are they putting into that energy? So, COVID, as Gwen said, I feel has been a gift as well, to allow us to feel the deeper connection to spirit, to feel it from the inside out, because it becomes an effect of our body. And prayer, as we have said today, can change the experience of humanity from struggle to ease, from hardship to love, connection, from
Oh dear.
Oh,
Am I off? Did I
you're
go off
on.
again?
Just for a second. You're here. You're back. I love it.
Did you go to Nairobi and didn't tell me?
I'm having weather, Gwen. I'm having weather. So spirit moves us from disconnection to connection. Prayer moves us from unlovable to love.
Oh,
It's
that was
a place where is it gone again?
But we know what you're saying.
God is good all the time, and all the time God is good. Period. Did you hear that?
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, who was that? Somebody came up here. Diego, could you please pop up that the banner that just came up? Somebody is tuned in. We're on New Thought Media Network here with the Cosmic Prayer and the amazing Reverend Barbara Samuel, Reverend Gwen Smith, who are doing such incredible work, bringing not only prayer, but a whole teaching philosophy, way of living that we know as Science of Mind and Spirit, bringing this to communities around the world, in Canada and in Kenya and anywhere else that where people find you. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to connect or know more about what you're doing? I know you have a conference coming up, don't you, in 2023?
We do.
Yeah, I'd love you to talk about that.
It will be in Nairobi, Kenya, and it will be at the end of January. We haven't picked the specific dates, in early February, and we will come together in community where our hearts of North Americans and around the world and our beautiful Kenyan family and beyond will come and share music and the connection of community and love and vision and heart. And that's what we'll be doing in 2023. And all the while, Gwen and I host a Froggy Friday every second Friday. And we post blogs every other Friday as well. And we have community events that are happening.
You do? I get those blogs.
Yes. Do you want to add anything, Gwen?
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to.
It's okay. We are... This whole idea of the conference is because we are going to, originally when they did the 2020 conference, Connie had 4 students that were going to need paneling for practitionership. And so her idea came in and said, we'll put on a conference because we need people to come over and panel. And so that's how that was how the seed got planted. So with that same idea in mind, we were going to have 6 practitioners to be paneled in 2023. So we said, that's time for another conference. So that's where that idea came from. So we are really excited. And visioning has been in place for a while around that. And it's actually going to be, it was where, I think Connie's idea, and Barb, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's where Connie wanted to introduce the rest of the world to the Kenyans and show them that there's this whole community out here in North America and possibly Europe. And this time with the visioning, it's looking like it's where it's coming from Kenya and it's showing the world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
And the vision is just this big heart beating with Kenya being the heart. pulsating outwards. So the visioning has been very, very exciting. And so it's really stirring us up for the conference to come. Yeah.
Oh, this feels amazing. So, I want to be there.
We want you to be there, Laura.
Yeah,
We
I
want
want to be there.
We've got some work for you to do too. We're going to put you.
We'll put you to work.
I'd love to be there. It sounds amazing. So people can find out about this on the website, CSL Kenya. And I know that you'll be having opportunities for people to buy tickets to nearer the time to join that amazing conference already now.
Part of the conference will also be safari and adventure and going to the school that we support, Britain School. And there will be such life-changing moments. My life completely, and I know Gwen's did too, transformed on that trip. So safari means journey, and it was definitely our life journey, soul journey.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for being here and for sharing and for inspiring me and so many who are ready to hear, your journeys, your understanding and your calling and how you're showing up and what you're doing for this planet, because it's so needed, isn't it? And prayer is such a part of that. For me, it's such a vital part of that. Thank you.
It gets us out of the way, right, Laura?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I wonder if you'd both be willing to share a prayer right now before we go to leave. Yeah, fantastic. So what would we pray for? What would the purpose be?
How about that life is everywhere, that we joyfully surrender into the unity of love that is everywhere present. How does that feel?
That feels amazing. So would you like to begin, and then I'll do the release at the end, but I'd love you two to take the main parts of the prayer. And
I would love to. Gwen, do you want me to start?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. Whew. Come with me on this beautiful ride. Everywhere. So grateful to be in this moment. So deeply and profoundly grateful to have shared in this experience. And so I start with gratitude. I start with gratitude for knowing that there is one infinite intelligence that creates and expands and has its way through all things. That infinite intelligence is the source of all good, of all connection, of all perfect and right love and wisdom. This intelligence knows exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And it is a never-ending expansion of love and life. And I know that this life and this intelligence has allowed and invited myself and each and every person listening right now to be part of its energy. It is immeasurable. It is never-ending. It is connected to me right here, right now, in this space and place. And I am fully aware and I am equipped of this moment, and I allow myself to be part of it. Tag, Gwen, you're it.
And I know in this unity with the one, there is wholeness, there's love, there is that divine spark within each of us that is that universal love. And in that presence of that universal love, we glow and ebb outwards in that unity, in that love, in that wholeness. We are all one and the same. And I know that our spirit, our soul, our knowing is connected, grounded in love, in joy, in life itself. Yes. I know that we are those spiritual warriors showing up, stepping in and leaning into life, expressing and expanding who each and every one of us is. With God's guidance, knowing that inner knower, we move forward, we expand, we express, we show up. Tag, Laura.
Oh, and I know that this love that is always here, that is pulsating and expressing through me, through Reverend Barbara, through Reverend Gwen, through Diego and New Thought Media Network and Reverend Robert and everybody that's listening right now or is yet to listen, if you're here and with us, that we are one with this. We are one with this love. We are one with this intelligence. We are one with this harmony and prosperity and peace. And that as we each say yes individually to this, to more of this, we show up as this, and collectively we say yes to this becoming who we are more and more and more. And so I'm so grateful. I'm just grateful for being here right now, for both reverends that are here and inspiring me and so many to pray, to use prayer. And I'm so grateful for the demonstration of peace and love and joy in each of our hearts right now. And I let go. We let go, knowing that this is done, that there is no more to do other than to be this and know this in our hearts. And that God has this intelligence, knows this. So I release it, and together we can say, and so it is.
And so it
is.
Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here and shining your lights. I can just feel it so much. I feel like we're in the room together.
Thank you for
we are.
Thank you, DA. Oh my gosh. Thank you to all of us and everyone joining. Just love is so good. Love is so good. Thank you for your patience.
I'm telling you, I appreciate you so much. That background brilliance is so appreciated.
Yeah,
I gave you a run for your money today, brother.
And you're here. You're still here. And so for anybody that's viewing right now, if you love this and you love New Thought Media Network, then you are always given the opportunity to consciously give and to tithe and share and be that reciprocal part of giving here. So we have a link down here where you can support this amazing ministry that is doing so much here in the world, New Thought Media Network, with broadcasts like this all day. Well, maybe not all day, but at least every day, definitely, and so many times a day. So anyway, we know the love that is here for everybody because we are this love.
Love is everything.
Make you go.
Love is everything. Interesting. So there we go. Feel the love, and so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Barbara and Reverend Gwen.
Thank you.
Until next time on the Cosmic Prayer. Bye.
Thank you for listening to Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper on the New Thought Media Network. If you've enjoyed this programming, please tell a friend and join us again next week for Cosmic Prayer, your weekly shift with Laura Topper.